The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, directed by David Fincher. This is probably my favorite Fincher film, which I know is surprising and probably an unpopular opinion. The film is respected, especially by the book readers. When I hear film fans talk about Fincher, when I hear people talk about their favorite films of all time or the best films from the past 20 years, this film seems forgotten. I honestly don't understand why, because I think it's one of his best films, and for sure it's my favorite film from him. But I've come to realize it goes beyond being my favorite film from him because, as the title would suggest, I watched this film repeatedly. I've watched this film more than 15 times at this point, probably much more than that actually. I realized in the past 5 to 6 years that I watch it every year, almost ritualistic, every single year. And I've come to also realize it's like a comfort film to me, which is strange because the film is extremely dark. The film has many horrific scenes. The subject matter itself is about murder and rape and serial killers, things like that. And yet I come back to this film all the time. And of course, when I came to that realization, I felt a bit like disturbed with myself. Like, dude, why you love this movie so much, you know? But upon further thinking, I've come to realize that I think it's the world. It's the immersion. It's the atmosphere. Now, of course, there's other things involved. I mean, I love the story. I love the characters. I love the performances. Across the board, I love everything about it. But I think what really keeps me coming back are those things. So let's start with the atmosphere, with the immersion. I feel like Fincher uses all cinematic devices to just craft this world. This film takes place in Sweden, and yet it feels like its own distinct world. The way he stretches moments out, the way he has CGI. If you know Fincher's work, you know he has CGI hidden everywhere, and this film is no exception. Almost all the snow in this film is CGI because he wants it to look perfect, perfectly atmospheric, perfectly cold, perfectly miserable. And there's some entertainment and comedy with that as well, with Mikkel constantly suffering, constantly just dying from the cold. And then there's the coffee, the sandwiches. As I said, I've read the books, and that is very reoccurring in the books. I don't know if that's a Swedish thing or if it's just a choice from the author, but constantly intaking coffee and sandwiches, and I love that because those are my favorite things as well. So I just also love that, just that connection, and it's just such a vibe. I love it. And then of course there's the music, the sound design. The music and sound design honestly blends together perfectly. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they do such an incredible score that is so unsettling. I don't know, I honestly always struggle to articulate this, where it's like a bop almost, but I wouldn't say the soundtrack is cool either. It's just so hypnotic, I guess. I don't know, I love it. So I'm kind of all over the place already. My god, I wanted this to be structured. But the way the film starts, you know, like the film starts with the intrigue, the ominous music, the start of this murder mystery. And then you get the amazing opening sequence with Karen O singing Led Zeppelin's The Immigrant Song. The way she sings it, the way the music is done, is just so perfect. It's so dark, it's so industrial, it's so gothic. The imagery itself is so gothic. It's just so vulgar and just unsettling. And I think that's the perfect tone to establish. But it's also, I don't know, cool. It's also badass. Just, I think the way the film starts is incredible. And then you lead right into Mikkel and his story. And this is where I kind of get into Fincher's control of the film. Because I think the cinematography isn't just pretty. I think, as you know, as film fans know Fincher, his control is so meticulous, and I just love it. Like the way he stages shots, he completely utilizes the widescreen, and he takes up all space. And I just love the way the actors come into frame. All the reporters come, they surround him, and then he leaves off frame. It's all one shot, and just the way the camera moves, I just think it's so perfect, hijacking your eyes. There's an incredible video by Nerd Writer, I believe, yeah, that's his channel, where he talks about that, about all Fincher films, the way he hijacks your eyes with incredible camera precision that lock you in to the character. Also the writing, Steven Zalian, the writing is just so perfect. It's show don't tell, and which is obviously the golden rule of storytelling. That's what I love about this film, is that it's so fast paced, and yet he knows how to stretch a moment. So it's fast paced because these cuts, these scenes, they last the perfect amount. You get the information you need and you move on. But the way it's written, they're not saying things that you wouldn't say. They're not saying exposition. Through the characters interacting, you're getting to know Mikkel. You're getting to know his situation with Venestrom and all that. And I just feel like the writing doesn't hold your hand. You really do need to lock in. This isn't just atmosphere, you know, like it's more than that. You really do gotta focus and listen to the story and pay attention. I feel like Fincher and Steven Zalian, they respect the audience. They expect you to be intelligent. They expect you to pay attention. And I love that because I think that's why I get so immersed, because of the filmmaking and also the writing. I feel like I'm leaning forward when I'm watching this film, and it's a great feeling. And like I said earlier about the pacing, I think it's perfect because yes, it's so fast paced, but then when you get to meet Lisbeth, her character, the girl with the dragon tattoo, when you meet her, she has so much aura. That moment is stretched. That entire scene is like a minute and a half or something. She's mysterious. She's so cool. The visual storytelling are giving you cues because of the way people around her are reacting. Everyone's looking at her like, oh my god, it's her. And then you get that narration of Armansky talking about her, and it's just such great filmmaking to add intrigue. And there's a great video I saw many years ago. I don't remember the name of his channel, but I'll link it. But he does a great video comparing the Swedish film with this film. And I mean, it's not talking crap about the Swedish film, but it's just showing how two different filmmakers make two distinct choices for this particular scene. And in the Swedish version, the scene lasts like 10 seconds. Like, oh, Lisbeth, she's weird, she's this, she's that. And there she is. And she's gothic and vulgar looking and scary looking almost. And there, 10 seconds. Here, this moment is stretched out. It's incredibly cinematic. And like I said, it builds her aura versus like, look at this gothic chick. And I just love it. Same with the first time Mikael arrives to Hedestad. That entire sequence of him on the train, the snow, the ominous music mixed with the train noises. And then, like I said, he's suffering from the cold. And then the dialogue choices about the 4:30 train, which is a constant reoccurring thing throughout the film, the 4:30 train. And then when he's arriving there, again, this sequence is really dragged out. But for good reason. It's adding to the mystery. Like, what is going on here? Something sinister has happened. Everyone is probably guilty. You don't know who to trust. And I just love the atmosphere, so palpable. And the way he leans forward, it's just such a great sequence. I love the way he stretches those things out. And this happens reoccurring throughout the film, so I'm not gonna talk about all those sequences. But again, I just feel like it's such perfect control and use of all cinematic devices. And then of course the mystery. I'm not gonna talk too much about that because I mean it's a best-selling, there it is. It's a best-selling trilogy. Of course the writing is great, the mystery is great. It's one of the best murder mysteries and plot twists I've ever seen. You could kind of predict where it's going to go on some level, but then it's not that itself isn't exactly what you expect. So it's a great mystery as well. It's incredibly dark, but the characters. Mikael, I love him. He's entertaining. He's hilarious. He's kind of silly. He's kind of like a soft guy, but he's also very intelligent. And I think the film is balanced because he's so intelligent, even though he's always like, oh, the cold, and oh, I hurt myself, and kind of getting taken advantage of by people. And, you know, he's still intelligent. And I think he's a very entertaining protagonist because even though it's called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, for most of the film, Lisbeth does not interact with the main plot. She's doing her own thing. And I think that's such a bold choice from the writer, but also from the screenwriters, because they were faithful to the book and keeping her away from the main story. And that's a bold choice because some people could feel like, what's the point of all this? And the point is getting to know her because she is the main protagonist of the entire trilogy. And of course, it's tragic. This trilogy was never made. This trilogy was never fully realized, which I'll get into later. They take their time letting the audience get to know her again by showing her throughout her life, showing the way she reacts to conflict, the way she reacts to tragedy, to trauma. And it's just so interesting. And she is such an amazing protagonist, such an interesting female protagonist. She's almost like a superhero. She's almost like an anti-hero. She's so cool. She's so intelligent. The only it's not a complaint, but the only thing that does suck that is really capitalized in the book that is not in this film is how they really make it clear that she's like weaponize her autism, literally. Like, she has photographic memory. She's super weird. She's incredibly intelligent, and she's weird in the film with the way she behaves, but they don't really capitalize on how intelligent she is. Like, she's genius level intelligence. Like, think Gregory House, those types of really intelligent people that are a little off, you know? Lisbeth Salander is like that. And I think that just makes her so cool, you know? And of course, she's gothic. I love goth, and she's very attractive, physically attractive. Rooney Mara, I absolutely love her. Her performance in this film, I think she got nominated for an Oscar, but yeah, I mean, she's incredible in this film. She completely disappears. And then the ending. The ending really drives it home because the ending is so sad. You know, it's so tragic. It's gut wrenching. You know, this entire film, you're getting to know Lisbeth. You're starting to root for this romance, and the film isn't a romantic film at all, but there is this romance within it. And I think the way they tell the story is just telling what happens. I don't feel like the film is trying to make you root for the romance. It's not trying. They're not doing romantic things. You know, there's no cliche sequences. But through the writing and through the filmmaking and through the performances, at least me, I'm rooting for this romance. The end, you know, like I feel like they do a good job of not making you hate Mikkel either, because I mean Mikkel, they both were like in open relationships. They both were sleeping around. Everyone is sleeping around in this film, especially in the books. I do think this is a great adaptation because they did take out the right things, and there's a lot more affairs in the book, and they take it out in the film. And you know, like they're sleeping around. They have an open relationship, but Lisbeth, she starts to catch feelings, and you don't blame her. I mean, she's young, and not just that, but also she's never really experienced this connection before. She's never experienced someone accept her before, not truly. And I feel like the filmmaking does a really good job of making you understand her. Like when she asks to borrow a large sum of money from Mikkel, and he's like shocked at first, but he's like, okay. Like he doesn't say it, but you know, obviously he's saying, okay, I trust you. I trust you'll pay me back. And many times throughout the film, you see through Lisbeth Slander's past that, I mean, that's the opposite of what her life experience has been. No one trusts her. Everyone fears her. Everyone looks at her like she's disgusting. And here's this respectable, kind man who is fully allowing himself to be at her mercy in many regards throughout the film. And of course, she falls for him. But of course, with her darkness, her personality, her life experience, when she sees that he's continuing to sleep around with that other chick, she's heartbroken and she leaves. I love the music. The music is a little bit tragic, but it's also almost like fairy tale-esque, like the closing of a book. Literally, it feels like. I just love that ending. It's so gut-wrenching. It's so tragic. It's so beautiful. And when I'm sitting there through the credits, I don't feel like super sad because of the ending. I feel mostly like, man, what a great film. I feel like that satisfaction, that indescribable, specific satisfaction you feel from watching a really great film and being completely immersed, completely locked into a film and disappearing into that world. And I can't stress that enough. I feel like Fincher really crafts a distinct world in this film, and I just love it. That's what keeps me coming back. I will say I do feel sad every time I see it because of the trilogy that never came to be. For sure, I feel that every single time. Just like, my God, this could have been one of the greatest trilogies ever, dude. Like, Fincher obviously really cared. The screenwriting was great adaptation for a book, and they really took the time to lay out the groundwork in this first film. I feel like even though it's a large budget studio film, it feels like an indie. It feel like Fincher and everyone involved treated it like an indie, just caring about the craft, just caring about the storytelling. I think the audiences weren't ready for this yet. They weren't ready in 2011 for a hard R adult start of a franchise. And now we have The Conjuring, we have all these horror franchises, we have Deadpool, we have John Wick, we have all these franchises that are successful and hard R. But this was before its time, unfortunately. And I feel like, man, if only it was made now, I really do think people would have responded. I could imagine all the people on TikTok making edits of Lisbeth being like, she has so much aura and all this crap, you know? It just sucks that one of the great tragedies of Hollywood filmmaking, of the Hollywood system, I should say. But if you have not seen it before, dude, check out the first teaser for this film, because I feel like, man, they went for it in the marketing too. There's also a lot of cool photo shoots that they did that are super gothic and intense, and I just love it, man. But that first teaser is one of the greatest teasers I've ever seen. It's a true teaser. It's vague. It's just moments flashing, boom, 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 throughout the entire film, mixed with the Karen O immigrant song. It's just perfect. And they kind of do what Nosferatu did 2 years ago, or last year, 2 years ago. They did what Nosferatu did, which is it was a Christmas release, and they capitalize on that, like the feel bad movie of the year. Freaking metal, freaking sick. But yeah, that's my rambling. I absolutely love this film with a passion, as I said, And I'm so glad I waited to make this video, because at some point I do want to cover all my favorite films on this channel, but I want it to be authentic. I want to feel compelled, you know? And if I'm being honest, about 5 months ago or so, I was like, you know what, let me watch the film to make a video, which I try never to do that, to force myself to make a video for content, you know? And I did that. I saw the film with that intent, and the movie didn't feel the same. And I remember thinking like, oh shoot, maybe I've outgrown the film. Maybe like I'm finally past this phase in my life where like this is a comfort film, because I just didn't lock in like I usually do. And then recently, right now I'm focused on reading a manga for a different video later, you know? So I'm locked into something else. And I just got the vibes. I just was like, I want to rewatch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So I was like, let me watch it with like no thought about YouTube. Just literally, I want to watch this film because it's a comfort film. And I put it on, and when I watched it authentically, I completely disappeared again, and I locked in. I took advantage of this experience to make this video while the passion's real, you know? And I mean, I'm glad to say that I still absolutely love this movie, and I'm gonna continue to watch this every single year. It's one of my favorite films of all time, and I just wanted to share this. And I know it's a really weird film to consider one of your favorite films of all time, and also a reoccurring film you watch every year, but I just wanted to talk about it and hopefully get other people to watch it, check it out again. Maybe you just saw it once when it came out and you were like, I'll never watch that film again. Or maybe you never even saw it, you know? Hopefully now you'll check it out. But I will say it is a dark film. It's a very dark film. So make sure you're ready for that type of vibe. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this film. I'd be curious to know. And let me know what's your favorite David Fincher film. Thanks for watching.